All right, so good morning, everyone. Today, we're excited to introduce MAX, Military Assistant Exchange, an innovative solution that is designed to help veterans easily access the benefits they've earned. I'm not saying that having half the team being made up of veterans, or the fact that Jeff, who is a veteran, was actually to play the role of decider that made things easy for us. But when it came time to make a decision on what we were going to focus on, we all aligned on the same problem. And that is the complex and overwhelming process that veterans go through just to identify and apply for their benefits. So, before we dive into the journey of MAX, we wanted to share some key numbers from our initial research that we found. Recent studies and the VA data reveal a major gap in the utilization of benefits. 35% of veterans don't use VA benefits at all. 50% only use some and don't fully utilize what they qualify for. To put that in perspective, that's 85% of 18.6 million veterans in the US that underutilize their benefits. So why are the veterans using their benefits? Gabe's going to break down some of the key pain points as to why this is.
So I'm not a veteran myself, so never had the pleasure of playing my hair out while discovering navigating the VA benefits website. But understand the process enough to know the frustration each veteran faces while trying to access the benefits they rightfully deserve. Everyone, even the VA officials, will agree the current process is confusing, complex, and often forcing veterans to become benefits experts in multiple different areas: housing, education, and health benefits, to just understand what's out there and whether they qualify or not. So with 3 veterans in our team and everyone having friends or family member who served or who's currently serving, this issue hit home. So we approached the design sprint with a clear North Star of transforming the VA benefits discovery experience and structure out how my group questions to improve the customer interaction and benefits awareness for the veterans. So we understand the VA process once gets simplified overnight, but we believe with MAX, we will simplify the benefits awareness process and turn frustration into clarity and confusion into action.
Thank you, Gabe. So our Google Sprint began with a very simple question: how can we transform the painful process that exists today for finding veteran benefits into something simple and easy? This comes from our experience, the 3 of us being veterans, but also each one of us knows someone personally that has struggled with this issue, and that's really what led to our long-term goal of creating an environment where veterans know what they're eligible for. Now, coming to the activities during this sprint, on Monday we created a customer map that helped us identify 3 critical pain points, and those were disconnected VA resources, complex eligibility requirements that exist for veterans, and the third being long wait times for veterans for in-person support. And from there, we found a very impactful opportunity that directly addressed these 3 key pain points that I mentioned. And that's where we decided to create an AI assistant that would be intuitive for the veterans to use. And then from there, as we progressed to Tuesday during our solution sketching, during the Crazy 8s exercise, someone on the team suggested we do a DD214 upload at the beginning of the chat interaction, and you'll see that in a moment during the demo. A DD214 is a single-page document, kind of like your transcript in college, that has your entire service record. And that was a major breakthrough in terms of just eliminating the need for veterans to fill out a lengthy questionnaire, and also automating the process and making the most of AI in this instance. Now I'm going to turn it over to Carl, who's going to cover the demo.
All right, so what you're looking at is an actual screenshot of our mock-up. We showed this to the veterans that were our testers. Of course, here you would start with the login, the user management, right? You want them to be able to do their self-maintenance, and of course, take care of their full profiling journey towards that benefits discovery. That's not that interesting, it's just a start. So what we did different was, instead of the normal forms, feedback, and all these things that you fill out, right? We thought, hey, let's make this a natural conversation. So you would just, it's not it's a much more advanced, not the typical 10 years, 20 years ago chatbot, right? You would have a natural conversation that we're all now used to with the current generative AI. So you would just then go in there and ask your questions. But for example, here, it would ask you about the DB214 that you mentioned, and then it would helpfully show you the form. Hey, go ahead and upload it, right? So it would take care of that, and you know, it's all contextual. I understand there's a lot of very good natural language processing and intuitiveness that would be available based on using generative AI, right? So after you upload it, it would process the information and use that to figure out what other questions it needs to ask you to get answers that were unanswered, right? So filling that out, of course, you want to have human in the loop to kind of check that you are on the right track. You can't just assume everything works. That's a you know, good best practice to do. So then it would then suggest you, hey, here's what I got. Is it good? You confirm or you edit, and then of course it will get right to the decision making. But another big part of this was the dynamic progress tracking. You know, we've all seen when you apply and there's many forms, it's a pain, right? And if you miss something and you go back, this one would have dynamic progress tracking. You can kind of go in, go ask, and say, oh yeah, I forgot this. Let me ask this. Oh yeah, can you add this, right? So that whole natural conversation is reinforced right here. And then once you get that, all this analysis, it would reference based on what we train it to. It would come up with some benefits for you, suggestions, and then your whole personalized results dashboard for the different aspects it would cover for you, and guidance and pre-calculation. So it's all right there for you to take care of. Every benefit is clearly explained. As a summary, you can go into detail and help you. But these are screenshots. Let's see it in action. Just a short video of the actual. And you know what, guys? You can try that out later. We'll provide a link with a QR code. All right. And now, let me hand it off.
All right, thank you. While Max is showing promising results as is, we don't want the customer journey to just end there. That's why, in future sprints, we hope to explore expanding Max's functionality, so that we're able to involve him in other aspects of the VA benefits process. While it's great to know what benefits are available for you, the next step is actually applying for those. For those who have never applied for VA benefits, what we found from speaking to veterans is that this can often be a very tedious and convoluted process. You never know which form you actually need to fill out, you don't know where that's located, and once you do start filling it out, it feels like you've given this information to the VA hundreds of times. We hope that Max will be able to streamline this process by using the information that was just given to you to tell you the exact form you have to fill out. And it'll even go a step further to actually pre-populate some of that information, so you're only adding additional information that's specific to that benefit. Another problem we want to solve is the fact that benefit eligibility is not stagnant. In this next example up here, we have a push notification being sent to a veteran whose dependent turned 18. Now, upon turning 18, your VA eligibility changes and you're no longer eligible for certain benefits. By implementing push notifications like that, benefits are able to remain updated about important and crucial information about any eligibility change for benefits, as well as new benefits that are available specifically for them. By including these additional sprints, we want to make sure that Max isn't a product that's just either used once or maybe once annually, but it's a continued support that updates the veteran throughout throughout their life and for as long as they need them. Now the next case, we want to hear from actual veterans, which I'll now pass off to Jeff to discuss what veterans think about the VA as it stands and what they think about Max.
Thanks, John. In the words of one veteran, I would compare finding VA benefits to finding a needle in a haystack. In the words of one veteran, I would compare finding VA benefits to finding a needle in the haystack in the Marianas Trench, blindfolded, without a bathing suit. But it's safe to say this guy's frustrated with the system. In my experience, I can attest to the fact that the system is complex and convoluted. But that's why we built Max. Let's take a look at a couple testimonials. You see hope in those testimonials. You saw despair in that quote. You see hope in those testimonials because these veterans understand Max will streamline the benefits process. It will relieve frustration. It will save time. And importantly, it will help veterans find benefits they didn't know existed. So we need your help. We need your help to bring Max to fruition. So those testimonials were the power of Max. That's why this is important. So we need you to fund Max today. We need you to fund Max now so that we can get this vitally important project going. These veterans have served us. We owe it to them to help them get access to benefits that they've earned. Thank you.
So we've said this 3 times, give it a try. Get your phones out, give you a second there, and get your QR code. You'll get the product page, the actual mock-up. You can give Max a try. That's the exact thing that the veterans used. And you'll see the demos and the clips from the testimonials. You can see those are real testimonials. It's all right there. Thank you.
All right, any questions? Yes, John.
I like it. I actually just applied for disability benefits, and I know that that process is a headache. Do you guys consider linking into the VA healthcare system or something to pre-populate some of those documents? Because I know that's a huge pain.
Yeah, we want the future sprints to actually make it easier to apply. So on that dashboard that we create and the profile that you create for yourself, there'll be a little widget or another box that says, here's the benefits you qualify for. Click on to apply. So that way, instead of having to click, because we found, us veterans as well, we found that you have to click 5 or 6 times before you can actually apply for something or even see what your status is, right? It's always navigating this word jungle on these VA websites. So that's one of the future sprints we were also thinking about, was being able to apply that easy apply and make it easier for veterans essentially, right?
I like QR codes too.
So I love it as well. Great idea. Great presentation. There was at the beginning had some really powerful stats around how many people aren't fully utilizing their benefits. Will Max show me on my personal dashboard how much of my benefits I'm actually utilizing?
That would be part of the future sprint. It would track your current profile, right? What you've used, it would be an advisor based on intelligent information, the data, the updated information that you get from different integrations that we can do.
And so there's just one more question. I'm not military, but so on the DD 214, I assume that's for all branches of
It's a standard paperwork you do when you separate the military, essentially. Everything gets that. I think was next. Yeah, I have it.
Great solution, guys. So you mentioned that Max will tell the veteran which forms they would need to complete because of the hassle of, trying to locate the forms and not having success in that. Does Max provide that specific form as soon as the user logs in or directs them to where they can locate that form, or is that a form that they would already need to have?
Yeah, sure. So of course we're going sprint by sprint, tackling the giant problem. What we'll do is we'll load the forms, what we can process now, have that as part of the intelligent processing as we go through. So it will improve over time, especially based on the user results. So it'll add these forms. There's forms all the time that keep changing too. So that's part of the process.
Nate?
I know that there are a lot, in your research, what other tools or groups are out there trying to help veterans access their benefits? And why is that not having the impact that you hope Max will?
So we did find that the VA has requested a couple $1 billion to implement a chatbot essentially. It doesn't do what Max will do, but basically what it does is just kind of explains benefits as you ask, you know. But it's really new, it's not mature yet, so we found that as we used it, anything we asked it, basically, it was more of like a prototype too on their site, because anything we asked was like, oh, contact this representative, you know. And I mean, for the basics of like, hey, what are the VA benefits? What are my priority levels? You know, what am I eligible for? It's like, well, contact this person. So it's just the same thing you get with searching, you know, through multiple web pages on the VA.gov website. It's just going to point you to a person that may or may not know what they're talking about, may mislead you, right? So, and you guys have that experience probably when you call somebody like, oh yeah, this is how it is, when it's truly not the same. It doesn't align with what's on their web page.
Yeah.
So I love that you have like ideas for future sprints. Like, did you guys utilize any of like the feedback that you got to inform those future sprints?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that was one of the biggest feedback is after we showed them the benefits dashboard, they're like, oh, that's great, but the application process is also a nightmare. And going through the VA website to look through that, we can absolutely understand that. It's unbelievable how many applications and different standard forms there are for each one. So that was kind of what led to that future sprint.
Good.
Okay, so I like the idea. Just a little bit of clarification. Is this replacing the current VA process, or is this just a tool to assist VA or veterans?
So it's a tool on top, it's an assistant, right? The VA process, they have a whole governance and all, you know, formal things that they have to do there, right? This is a tool to guide you, help you, and hopefully some parts of it will be integrated into their current system, so then you'll check off on those parts. So it's really a journey towards ultimate integration, I suppose.
And how do you guys think you could address the risk of the legal implications if somebody puts something in incorrectly and then they're awarded the benefits? And that's kind of where I come from. Is it helping or is it doing?
I think it's part of like the data validation part of it. So when you have for the DD14, you're gonna have specific questions, specific verifiers that allow you to actually know that you as a person, or you're the right connection to the right account, and the right dashboard essentially, right? So instead of having someone else's information on your dashboard, you'll know by the verification process that will take into the product.
Okay, thank you.
Kate.
Did you take into consideration the veterans that are the much older generation that may not be as computer savvy, and how would they have assistance in working the system, and would they be able to understand it?
Yeah, so we did our interview to get a feel for how intuitive it was for the veterans. And it was actually a lot simpler. The feedback that we got is a lot simpler than any existing resources that exist out there, which is VA.gov, VA offices in person, veteran service organizations. So veterans can still today go to a veteran service organization and they can also assist them to get on the AI assistant and ask them questions. So there are already existing resources the veterans can go to, but they don't have the tool behind it to support one seamless interaction. So this is where our solution comes into the picture. Is it actually enables even all these third-party organizations to be a better service to veterans.
John?
Yeah, I think you may have answered it and Ben brought it up. Is this integration to the current VA platform, or is it something like a paid service you guys see that veterans pay into to get this added benefit and get the streamline the process?
Yeah, so
We don't view this as a paid service. Ideally, it would be some sort of integration so that it's not creating additional information, but pulling on from what the VA currently has and directing you to the correct form based off of that information, and then also pulling in the information supplied to Max through the natural conversation.
Why we introduced the Google Design Sprint is because it's a structured approach where you really dive into the problem before you get to the solution. I would love for you to reflect on that process for you and how soon did the word AI come up as you're going through this particular as a part of the solution?
Yeah, no, we were guilty more than most for that one, because for us, the first thing we thought of was not AI actually, but the benefits dashboard. We wanted something that showed them exactly what benefits they've used, how much they have. But then once we got to really dug into starting with the problem, we found that a lot of the problems stemmed from collecting that information from the veteran and finding what was actually applicable to them specifically. So that's how we landed on the chat aspect, and that's where we thought AI would be able to help that.
Thank you, great job everyone. I'm kind of curious, what does success look like? So what's your primary KPI or something that you would measure to say, yeah, we did it?
So we had a lot of KPIs as we went through this, time spent on application, data retrieval, all these mini APIs. But the ultimate API is how many veterans did they help? That's really what it boils down to.
The increase in applications, the increase in using some, the statistics were based off of well-known benefits that the VA provides, right? There's a lot of unknown, smaller benefits that people really don't take advantage of. It's because they don't know about it, and it's so convoluted on the website they can't find those answers. So one of the guys we interviewed talked about he needed a service dog, but on the VA website there's nothing about that. So being able to connect them and see more people sign up for those services and take advantage of those services, and the funds that are allocated for those services is what we major KPI for us as well.
Great, thank you.
Great job.
Yeah. That was good, that was good.
Another break, please be back by 9:55.
Hey, that was good, man.
Start at 9:55.
Some soju on Tuesday? Yeah. Tell me how do you make that?